Okay, so right, welcome to Superhero Kids Club. Another video from us today, the Superhero Kids Club. You can find us on Facebook, like us on Facebook. We are also on Instagram as the Superhero Kids Club. I'm Captain Aditi Samant. I'm the founder of Superhero Kids Club. I'm a mom, a pilot, a clinical psychologist, a life command coach, and an early parenting expert. And today we're going to talk about what kind of a parent are you? So let's talk a little bit about the Superhero Kids Club for those of you who have just joined us and who don't know what Superhero Kids Club is about. Uh, the idea is to help you raise your kids as resilient superheroes of their own lives, capable of taking charge of their own lives. Right from the early age, we start by creating a very strong foundation. Now, what happens is, as parents, uh, we have our own thought processes, we have our own experiences about the way we were brought up, and we try to use apply the same principles for our kids of this age, but that doesn't necessarily work. Parenting can be either one of the toughest jobs in the world, or it can be the most rewarding, but how it is depends on how you bring up your child, what kind of parenting you have received, how you grew up, what kind of treatment you got. So also it depends on what you see other people do. Sometimes we look at other parents, sometimes we look at our peers, we get information from courses, or we get information online. So there are a million ways to get information about parenting these days, but not necessarily all of it applies to you. Right. So, which is why we recommend doing a specific course, like the kind we have, to basically understand what it is about parenting your 21st century kid who is born into this internet age, for whom everything is like fast paced, and how do you actually learn about child development and apply those principles to making your kid mentally tough and doing the right things for your kids. So there are different kinds of parenting styles. There's so much information out there. I'm not going to talk about the most the technical stuff here, but I'm going to use a metaphor today. Of all the metaphors that are available these days, we talk about something called helicopter parenting and tiger parenting and this parenting and that parenting, and every day there's something new. So today I'm going to talk about something new, which is, are you a carpenter parent or are you a gardener parent? So let's get started. What does a carpenter do essentially? So there are all these kind of sayings that we have. A child's mind is like, a child is like a piece of clay, or their mind is like a blank slate. uh, Children are clay for you as parents to mold, or a slate for which you can write on and teach them. Well, here's the thing, here's a fact of life. Okay, children are alive, they are not clay, they are not rock for you to carve, they are not wood, they are not slate for you to write on. Okay, a carpenter, you're not a carpenter, because a carpenter is basically somebody who is working with dead wood. The wood can be carved into any shape that the carpenter wants. The carpenter has complete control over the wood. If they go wrong, what do? They just throw away that piece of wood and start again. Can you do that with your child? Of course not. So are you a carpenter? Hell no. Okay, so what are you? The tree that the carpenter just worked with was once upon a time alive and growing and planted. It had roots, it had leaves, it had branches, and long before it was a tree, it was a little seed which grew into a sapling, which was, whether it was in the forest or whether it was in the nursery or in a garden, wherever, it was tended to by someone. So you, my friend, my dear friend who is a parent, you are like a gardener, because your child is like the tree. The seed that the child that you planted, okay, is like the sapling that is growing. Your child is that sapling, because your child is full of life and bursting and growing and shooting new leaves and new branches and flowering and fruits. And if you want a metaphor for your child is a growing tree, not a piece of rock or a piece of wood for you to carve. Okay, So, what does a gardener essentially do? A gardener is somebody who tends to, nourishes, nurtures, allows, helps a sapling grow. If a gardener, puts a fence around a tree, the tree is only going to grow in that small place, but it's still going to find roots under. Whereas if a gardener allows that tree space to grow, what's going to happen? That tree is going to find its roots, is going to live up to its full potential, and is going to be a beautiful, strong, full of life, being alive. Is going to be a shelter for so many birds. Shelter, is going to be giving fruits, is going to be basically a giver. So, as a gardener, that's what you want to do if you want to have a resilient child. So, how do we nurture our children as gardeners to make them grow into their full potential, into the beautiful trees that they were supposed to be, and into their full potential as resilient, strong, mentally tough beings who are capable of facing any storm and still uh, continuing to stand there. We need to provide for them just as a gardener provides. We need to provide number one, soil, number two, water, number three, sunlight, number four, fertilizer, number five, pesticides, number six, weed removal. So, if we're going to use this metaphor for children, let's do it right, okay? So, first things first, what is soil? In Soil is the home and the family environment that you provide for your child. It needs to be fertile and rich in its own self. Okay, so how do you do that? A family that is rich in its family values, is rich in its in its own rituals and traditions. I don't mean social traditions, I mean what is it that you as a family value the most. Okay, how much love is there between the members of the family? How do you express your love? How do you show that each of them is important? How is there mutual respect for every member of the family? What kind of things do you think are most important? Do you give value to money? Do you give value to education? Do you give value to people? Do you give value to learning? What is it that you are actually giving value to, and how does that show up in your own child? So how much of time do you spend together? What is the family mindset? Okay, who are you people that are raising this child? Okay, this is what creates the rich and fertile soil in which this beautiful new child, is the beautiful new plant is growing. Okay, and this is the environment in which our little babies are born. Now, when this richness is missing, in many families it is missing, when this richness is missing because there are problems at home, people don't communicate with each other, they don't get along with each other, there is abuse, whether it's emotional abuse, financial abuse, domestic violence in terms of physical abuse, whether it is between the parents or whether it is abusing the child, whether there is neglect, whether there is any kind of other bad influences, financial problems, whatever it is, that makes the richness that is missing. Okay, the soil may be considered as barren, where the plant won't even grow well, or worse, it may be considered really rotten, where it actually causes more damage to the child than benefits. So it's not conducive to the optimum growth of your tree, which is your child. So in such an environment, even a seed with immense potential cannot grow, it cannot reach that potential. And then we blame the seed for failing, because we as parents expect so much from our kids, and then when they don't live up to that expectations, we blame them. But we don't look at where we as parents have failed, where our family environment has failed. It's not the child that has failed, it is the family that has failed the child. Okay, this is a matter of introspection. Now, what kind of a family environment am I providing for my child, and what can I do to nourish my child to reach their potential? To learn more about providing the most nourishing and optimum family environment, and to bring up your child as a superhero, click on the link in the description box below, and it'll take you straight to my course in Superhero Kids Club. And how to create a wonderful family environment, how to be a great parent, is one of the most important aspects that is discussed there. The second thing we need to do is provide water. Now, a sapling, a little sapling that is just growing, full of life, it needs optimum amount of water to grow, and it is the gardener and Mother Nature who provides this and keeps a watchful eye on that. For our precious little saplings, it is the food, water, nourishment, basically the food that we give for their physical bodies. While we are mostly careful about what they're eating, most of us are very, very careful. Okay, you should not be eating junk food, you should be eating healthy, etc., etc. We do need to learn more about their nutritional needs at a particular age. There is I've often come across parents who really want to give their kids the optimum nutrition, but they end up overfeeding their child, and even then the right nutrition doesn't go, and their kids end up having problems uh, you know later on. But we need to understand what is my child's nutritional need in the scientific sense, depending on their age, physical activity, physical condition, the mental activity, mental development, and the season, the location, wherever you are. Local and seasonal produce is often the best bet for balanced nutrition. Leave the fancy world cuisine for special occasions, like you leave junk food for special occasions. So now many parents overfeed their child because they think that their child is eaten less. We don't really have a correct estimate of how much food our child needs, and we often feed our children till the time they are, oh my god, I am so full, I am over full. If you're going to feed your child till you're over full, till the child is over full, your child is not going to develop a healthy relationship with food, because they're either going to equate food with love, or they're going to equate food with with a sense of nausea because they're over full. Now, what happens to a plant when it has been overwatered by the gardener? What happens? It doesn't grow well, right? Too much of something, even if it is good for you, is not great. So a plant that has been overwatered by the gardener drowns in that water and doesn't do well. So as children grow, they become more and more attracted to junk food. Even if you're feeding your child well, please do not overfeed your child. Please do not feed your child junk food, because you know uh, as they grow up, they become more and more attracted to it, and as they become more attracted to the junk food, the healthy food takes a backseat. Now, how do you resolve this? So first of all, allow your child to tell them when they're full. Don't push it. Okay, like, you don't want to be force fed, your child doesn't need to be force fed. There are times when they don't want to eat, there are times when they want to eat. It's okay. It's okay. They need to learn discipline, they need to learn set times of eating, but there's a certain age to do that. Okay, so when your kids are very young, allow them to tell you hunger signals and stop signals. Allow them to recognize their own body's signals. If they're not able to recognize their signals now, in fact, if they are already recognizing them and you override it because you don't think as a parent that my child has eaten enough, when your child has already eaten enough and told you enough, I'm full, if you don't allow them to do that, then what's going to happen is that they are going to keep on having a bad relationship with food, and as they have a bad relationship with food, they will not be able to understand in the future when they are full, when they are not full, what is their body saying to them. So these are the things that you as a parent need to be extremely careful about. Please do not force feed your children food, even if it is balanced food. Educate them on the benefits of eating food that is healthy, and keep offering different foods on a regular basis. See, as children grow, their tastes evolve. Okay, so what your child liked at 2 years, not necessarily that the child is going to continue to like it at 5 years. Me myself, when I was very young, before 5 years old, my mother tells me that I would not eat my vegetables at all. But around the age of 5 or so, suddenly I changed and I fell in love with vegetables. And since then, I love vegetables, all kinds of vegetables. So it it's a part of growing up. Just because your child is not eating vegetables at the age of 2 and 3 doesn't mean that your child is never going to eat vegetables. You don't need to force your child. Give your child various options. Allow your child to choose. Offer the food. Let your child develop a healthy interest in the food that they're eating. Give them the opportunity to keep trying new foods, to keep the balance of nutrients intact. Allow your child to eat off your plate, as long as you are not eating junk food, as long as you are eating healthy food. Allow your child to eat off your plate. So there are 6-7 aspects to this gardening, being a gardener and nurturing your child. We've covered two of these aspects today. In the next video, I'm going to cover the rest of the aspects. Stay tuned for the next video. There is a link to my course in the description box below, and if you're interested, you can please sign up for the course. Please leave a comment on in the comment section below if you like this video, if you want to you can also tell us what kind of issues you have, what kind of challenges you have, and I will try to make more videos on those kind of challenges and those kind of issues. So thank you very much, and see you for the next video with the rest of the points on how to be a great gardener parent for your child.